Senators have just spent 2 weeks traveling our home states and hearing what's on the minds of working families. I got to spend time with all kinds of hardworking Kentuckians across the bluegrass. There's no question we're in better shape than we were a year ago. Thanks to the genius of science, the success of Operation Warp Speed, and the bipartisan rescue packages the Republican-led Senate passed in 2020, the year 2021 was primed and set up for an American historic comeback well before the new Democratic Congress or the new Democratic administration were even sworn in. But Democrats still wanted to rush ahead with the huge borrowing and spending sprees they had promised their far left. Top economists, including famous Democrats, warned our colleagues to think again. Even liberal experts tried to warn our colleagues that the socialist ideas they'd drawn up in 2020 were not suited to what Americans needed in 2021. Overspending and overborrowing would unleash inflation, slow rehiring, and hurt small businesses. All that was predicted. But Democrats rushed ahead. They rammed through what the White House bragged was the most left-wing legislation in our nation's history. And now Democrats want to follow up with even more absurd summer sequel. Well, let me tell you, Mr. President, I just spent 2 weeks hearing from my fellow Kentuckians, and they're already paying a heavy price. Manufacturers are still absolutely hammered by supply chain shocks. Employers, large and small, say Democrats' special bonus for workers who stay unemployed is badly hampering their ability to fully reopen and to serve their customers. Most of our surrounding states have already put a stop to this awful idea, but Kentucky's governor regretfully hasn't. It isn't just for-profit businesses either that are having trouble getting people back to work. I heard from one residential treatment center for pregnant women and new moms grappling with substance abuse. They said that because of the generous federal bonus for staying home, they've had trouble finding enough support staff to even reopen one of their facilities post-COVID. About 80% of the people who schedule an interview don't even show up. These backward bonuses have also invited heaps of fraud. In California, for example, a significant share of the state's COVID unemployment benefits were paid out fraudulently. Billions and billions of dollars to people who shouldn't have gotten it at all. And now, get this, Democrats want to give the Florida Labor Secretary who is in charge of that nightmare a promotion. In fact, we're scheduled to vote on her confirmation today to a leading position at the Department of Labor. You really can't make this stuff up. And then there's inflation. Just this morning, we learned that runaway inflation has continued to hit working families and hit them hard. Consumer prices spiked in June considerably more than had been forecast. Inflation is up 5.4% year over year, the fastest jump in 13 years. Stunningly, it's up 0.9% just month over month. Families are feeling it everywhere, from the supermarket to the gas pump to the housing to the used car lot and beyond. All thanks in part to the Democrats' half-baked spending spree from this springtime. And now they want an even more absurd, even more damaging summer sequel. What Democrats say they want to force through this summer through reconciliation would make our current inflationary mess look like small potatoes. Nobody seriously thinks our country needs another gigantic overdose of overborrowing, overspending, and overtaxing. And this isn't what the American people voted for either. Our distinguished colleague, the junior senator for Vermont, the chair of the Budget Committee, has been very transparent about his socialist ideology for decades, very upfront about it. But the country didn't elect a 50-50 Senate and a president who claimed to be a moderate so that Chairman Sanders could turn America into a socialist country. Working Americans know that's not what they voted for. This summer, they'll see who wants to borrow and spend trillions more dollars for no reason. And who would rather help them get their jobs back, their stable prices back, their small businesses back, and their lives back?